Minister Moyle came out with the Moyle Promise. What that effectively did was separate the recreational sector away from Maori at that time. A mistake, I know, but we learn from our mistakes. But it did separate us. My question to you, Minister, is now that you are back in government, as the Labor government, when are you going to honour the Moyle Promise?
Well, look, there are two things I would say. First of all, I've only been a minister for about 6 weeks, but I have a lot of ideas about what I want to do that I just can't talk about tonight. But believe me, I haven't been sitting my hands not thinking about things and how to do things. The other thing I would like to say is, and I didn't know Sir Mark's story about the management of the Kaikoura fisheries, but I'd be keen to know more about how, as recreational, community, commercial, and iwi, we really can all work together to get what we want. Because in the end, we all actually have a common vision. We all want sustainable fisheries and an abundance of fish in our sea. And I don't think that there needs to be an inherent conflict between any of those groups if we get it right. One thing I would say, in the way we're looking at things and the conversations I'm having with officials and those within the industry, is we recognise that there does need to be change. But it's just what that change looks like. And you know, when I talk about Brand New Zealand and what that stands for, I'm deadly serious in the sense that we need to ensure that whatever we do with our fisheries is aligned to our global brand of sustainability. And I was saying to Sir Mark that, you know, I love that Maori term, kaitiakitanga, about stewardship. And what it says is none of us own anything. We're all here just to look after and make sure that we return, or that when we leave, what we have been part of is just as good, if not better, than it was when we arrived. And I really, and call me an idealist, but I really don't think there needs to be an inherent conflict between those who have a stakeholding in our fisheries. And you know, when Sir Mark talked about the first right is actually to the sea. If we start from that principle, I think we can all move forward and find common ground. And you know, we will. We will have some debates, that there is no doubt, and there will be some disagreement on how we get there. That's just natural. If we all agreed on every single thing, then you know, we've got Bob here, we've got Randall here disagreeing. But we all agree on the same thing about what we want. And that's why I absolutely agree and believe that we must find a way to work together to come up with common goals and objectives and then strategies on how to get there.
Question for the sport break fishing guy. Given the guy on the end there, over there, Bob, yeah, g'day Bob. Given the huge and obvious benefits that a proportional allocation would make to the relationship between the commercial and recreational fishing sectors, why don't you support it? And if you back your claims about the amount of tax that you as a sector pay, just ask the government to pay when you need to compensate commercial fishers for an increase in their allocation.
I can answer that. Barry, have you got something?
Yeah. Hi, Randall, Minister. Yeah, most definitely like to speak to the question of proportional allocation and its attractiveness, superficial attractiveness. And pick up.
Put the microphone up to you.
Sorry, mate, and pick up on Keith's point about learning lessons. We can learn lessons from our past. We can learn lessons from other people's experience as well. And the experience with catch shares, fixed proportional catch shares, is a calamity where it's been used. You might say that Western Australia is an example that is still alive, but the clock's ticking. The extensive work that was done in the federal fisheries in the US where in federal fisheries there was mandatory catch share programs put in place. These have caused such a destruction in social and economic terms that there's now an act in front of Congress called the Modernisation of Recreational Fisheries Management Bill. And its purpose is to unwind these schemes, because what they have found, and we will find if we go down the same road, is that they are so inflexible that it prevents management strategies that make the wisest and best use of the resources available. And that's why we'll pick and back the Minister to make a judgment, receiving all the information, because he's the only one operating in the national interest. Everybody else is working to their sector interest. But the Minister is charged with the national interest, and we'll back him each time. And proportional representation does not have a great story to tell, and the US is currently unwinding theirs.
Thank you, Barry. I totally agree with you when we're talking about fixed proportionality. The problems in the United States are severe, and I've said in several of our public meetings that it's a place that we certainly don't want to go to. But I would appreciate, Barry, keeping in mind that I have been proposing proportionality only if there's also a process that allows a transfer of a portion of a total allowable catch to recreational fishers as changes occur over time. And that's the direction that Western Australia is going.
But that's the ministerial discretion.
It is a ministerial discretion, and I've never said what I have proposed would undo the minister's discretion. I did not ever say that, and what I have proposed is we go the route of Western Australia, where they have the certainty of proportions, and they have good information on the recreational catch as well as commercial. They know when they need to shift the proportion from one sector to the other. That is the direction I've been consistently proposing. They have new legislation for that to happen, and they're building processes for it to be put in place. So please be clear, Barry. I've only said proportionality when there's also a process that goes along with it.
Well, that's our tax share program we have right now with the Minister. There's no need for a change.
The difference is that sooner or later, the shifts from commercial to recreational will start to affect the treaty settlement, the asset value of the quota holdings that Māori have, as well as the potential eroding of the asset value for Pākehā. That is my concern in terms of putting proportionality in place so that we have some certainty, as all business people want, but then the ability to make those shifts and have a reasonable discussion about compensation.
Thanks, Dr. Bess. Josh O'Rourke from Stratera, representing the New Zealand mining sector. Just by way of analogy in terms of industry associations, I was just interested in your comment there about the peak body, and in particular how, I suppose, any issues with the presumably privately funded model currently used, and then secondly, any issues that a Crown-funded body would have in terms of such an association being beholden to the funder, in this case the Crown.